In this video, I'm going to review with you the key items that you're going to need to make this an ATC Armoire like one of these. The first and most important thing is the cigar box, which is the base of these ATC Armoires. So I'm going to move this out of the way. The most important thing is that I chose a cigar box because it is sturdy and the lid will become your doors, and it's already made to fit nicely onto the top of the box. What you're going to want is a cigar box that's covered in paper. This is wood underneath usually, but it's going to be coated in paper. And some good sources for boxes like this are places like eBay, or if you have cigar box shops in your neighborhood. I happen to have one, and a lot of them will sell the all wood ones, but this type they will give away or throw them away. So if you've got something near you, you can do that. If you cannot find a suitable box, and I know some of the gals in the UK are saying that it's hard for them to find cigar boxes there, I am going to cover how to build a box from scratch using foam core. So if worst case you can't find anything to use for this project, be it a cigar box or some other kind of box, then I will cover it and you can build it from scratch. There's some nice advantages to building it from scratch because you can build it exactly the size that you want it. So now in terms of the cigar box itself, what you need to think about is you need a cigar box that is long enough and deep enough for whatever type of artwork you're going to put into it. Now I'm going to open up one of these boxes here. Yeah, hopefully you can see in that. And so what you have to consider is, what are you going to hang inside your box? Is it going to be something like an ATC? Is it going to be something like a tag? So think about what the width is of your piece of art, and your box needs to be that depth plus probably another inch. So if you're going to hang ATCs, you really want a box where the inside measurement, not the outside, but the inside measurement is, say, 3.5 inches, because the ATC is typically 2.5 inches. If you can get a deeper box, that's great, because then you have more options. Another reason to have the box deeper than the actual item is if you want to do decorative items inside the box. Let me pull this open for you and show you. It'll be easier to see. If you want to do some decorative things, dimensional things on the insides of the doors, then you're going to need some extra space inside your box as well. And then of course the other issue is lengthwise. Thinking about how long you need it to be. It's got to accommodate, as you can see inside here, it's got to accommodate a wooden dowel and your hanger, and still have some length to hang from there. So you'll have to consider all that. So the best thing to do is just to figure out first, what are you going to hang, and then secondly is, what are you going to use to hang things in the box. Now I've used hangers, actual metal hangers, wire hangers, and you've got a couple of options on how to hang how to hang the items. In the first post that I did, I showed the items being hung with little clothespins, and some of you were concerned, would it damage the art in some way? Now I've had this on here for quite a while and it has not. These are kind of nice in that they pinch but not too hard. But if you're still concerned about that, or maybe there's not a good way for the particular piece you have to clip it up the top, then you can always just attach a piece of ribbon on the back of your artwork and then just hang it like such. Or perhaps you can put it in a sleeve of plastic and then you can clip it on using the plastic so you don't actually touch the artwork. So my advice would be to figure out what kind of hangers are you going to use, and then you need to figure out what size wooden dowel works with the hanger. So you've got to be able to have a dowel that the hanger will go on. And then figure out, okay, now I have all this, I need a little extra space up here, I have the artwork that's hanging here, maybe it's something longer like a tag, and then I want some free area down here. you'll notice in these two boxes there's a lot of space in the bottom. So I went ahead and added some Matchbox drawers in here. So if you want to have something like that, then you need a little bit longer box. And this box was even longer. So I ended up putting an actual panel in the bottom so I could just stack some ATCs in a row in the bottom. So you need to consider that for the length of the inside of your box. Now, in terms of where I found the hangers and the clothespins, these metal ones I found on Etsy. They came in a set of 12, and it was for like $9.50, so it was like 79 cents a hanger. But I talked to the folks at Alpha Stamps and asked them if they would carry a cheaper alternative, and they are. They're carrying these packs of 3, and these are going to run $1.99, so it ends up being 66 cents a piece as opposed to 79 cents a piece. And I actually don't know, since it's an Etsy store, I don't know how many they carry of this. And you can see they're nicer too in that they're a little bigger and wider, so they can accommodate a little bit bigger artwork. And then the other option is really a small wooden hanger, which Alpha Stamps has these too, and they're coming in a little pack of 4. If you want to use something like this, the only problem with this in terms of using it to hang things is you need a pretty small dowel, and you're going to have to open up the end of the hanger so that it'll hang. So you have to consider that, and then depending on what you're doing, you probably can't use the clips for this. You'd have to use something where you're going to put the ATC on it like that. I've used these as decorative items inside of things or on the outside of things as opposed to something to hang, but it will work if this is what you want to do, if you like that wooden look. And then I asked them if they'd carry these too. They're gonna sell them for 50, I think 50 in a pack, which would give you enough to hang 25 ATCs, which is probably more than will fit in your box. And I think they're going to have them for $1.99 for 50 of them. So that would probably cover everything that you would need in terms of hanging ATCs inside. Okay, now I've talked about the box itself and talked about thinking about what you're going to use to hang things inside, the dowel, the hangers, whatever, and the artwork that you're going to want to hang inside, and then use that to decide what kind of size box you want or can find. And it may have to do with just what you can find. So anyway, now I want to talk about some of the other bigger elements on the boxes. First off being the feet. Now these feet here, these are the same ones I used for the Witch's Apothecary, if you joined me for that event. And these are the Tim Holtz feet. And the only difference here is I've just painted them, and they come in a set of 4. And the thing with these is I love them, but if you're going to use these, then you need to have some foam core. Because when we attach those, they will block the door, which is what the lid will become, the doors. They will block the door, so you're going to end up putting some foam core layers on the bottom to lift the box up so you'll be able to attach these. Then a couple other options, if you look on this one, are these egg cups. And I'm going to turn it on its side so you can see it a little bit better. These little wooden egg cups. And then there's also these little wooden, they're knobs, and they can either be used as feet or they can be used as knobs on the front of your drawer. And they're a little bit less expensive option than the metal feet. The metal feet, I think, go for about $6.99. I've seen them anywhere from $6 to $6.99, $7.50, something like that. Alpha Stamps has got these just like they did for the Apothecary, but the wooden stuff is a little bit better. They sell the egg cups for 79 cents each and the wooden knobs for 49 cents each. So if you're looking for something a little cheaper, the wood would work nice, and of course you can do what you want with it here. I have painted it and crackled it and inked it and that kind of thing, so you can kind of do what you want. And as knobs, you can kind of add any kind of fancy stuff you want on the front of those before you attach them. And then you can see on here I've used some odds and ends just to create pulls instead of knobs, so that's always an option too. Now on the blog I'll have a list of whatever products I use that are still available in both of these. A lot of the products that I used for the first one are products that are discontinued and have been for a while, so I'll let you know what they are, but you might find them on eBay or something, but you probably won't. Let me next talk about the hinges. Now on the first one, the hinges ended up being a disaster. I had these really neat hinges. They're made out of resin that were on there originally. They glue on instead of going on with brads or something like that. And these are old stuff, a line from EK Success called Architecture, and I've had them forever. And the trouble was, as soon as I started opening and closing the door a lot, then the resin just fell apart and the hinge broke. Fortunately, I did happen to have the metal version of them, and so I ended up coloring them to look like the others. They're a little bit too small, and unlike the other hinges, and the other hinges I'm going to show you, these don't allow you to open the door up all the way. So I had all this artwork inside the doors, and it's really difficult to see it now because the hinges only open so far. So I certainly wouldn't, I mean, you can try to find these hinges if you want, but like I say, the resin ones don't work, and the metal ones are just, they don't open all the way, and they just don't, as something you're going to glue on, they just don't cover the corner as much as they should. And having said that, I'll kind of show you again what I mean. You really need a hinge that is going to cover the entire corner and give you enough space to attach it so that it's not too close to the edge that it pulls out of the box. And another nice thing is to have a hinge that bends both ways, at least this far, which is what the hinges are on this box. So this box, unlike this one, I could attach it using holes with brad, so it's on there really solidly. And the other thing is that the hinges open up far enough that you can actually see all the artwork on the inside of the box. So, I mean, that's very important. So these hinges, these are going to be carried by Alpha Stamps as well, and they are, I believe, going to carry them 4 individually. You can buy them. Now, like if you're on something like this size, you probably could get away with just 2. If you're going to do something bigger like this, I kind of felt like it needed 4 to make sure that it was really sturdy. So I think they're going to be like 79 cents each, so that's a pretty good price. There's something else that's just come out in the Tim Holtz line that is really hard to get at the moment. I managed to get a couple, but the place I got it from doesn't have them anymore. I know Alpha Stamps is going to carry these as well, but they are just caught up in shipping. So these hinges are probably an option as well. They're more expensive option than the little metal ones. But it looks like that they probably will go around the corner. And the other thing to think about in the corner, you're going to have some paper and stuff up here, so there's going to be a little more thickness than what you see. But these do bend, they do open all the way, they do have, the holes for brads. It actually comes with brads, and they may not be long enough to go all the way through everything, but you can probably replace them with other brads, and they're pretty fancy looking. Now with these, I didn't do this on this one because there's so much going on here, but I don't see why you couldn't just glue some fancy things on top of these if you wanted to jazz them up some more. So that's going to be another option, although it's not available right now, at least not at Alpha Stamps. In a couple of places, other places I shop, it's not there either. So that's your issue with hinges. Now pulls on the front of the door, you kind of have to decide what you want to do. Now the ones I used here, the crystal ones, are also a Tim Holtz thing. And they come in a package of 3, and that was the problem. If you want your knobs to match, you have to buy 2 packages. So that's what I ended up doing, is buying 2 packages so that I could have 2 matching knobs. And I believe that I paid somewhere around $6 for just 1 package. So I use a lot of knobs and stuff, so I went ahead and bought 2, and I thought, well, now I've got 3 sets. Other options would be like this, to use this as a knob. And then, of course, there's lots of stuff that you could do to create pulls if you want to, instead of having a knob. So that's what I did there. The other thing is the paper. Of course, you can cover this in any way you want. You could paint it. You could do some kind of texturing. The only thing you have to be conscious of is that you can't do anything to interfere with the area where the door fits into the box. And I'll go into all these kind of details in the tutorial, but of course, if you're going to work with paper, you're going to need to have enough paper that you can cover the outside and the inside of your box. And then, of course, whatever embellishments for whatever theme you want to have. If you want to do something similar to what I've done, I know I've gotten notes from people saying they're going to do some steampunk. So whatever you want to do, and of course, I think these would be wonderful as Halloween. And I'm certainly going to do a Halloween version for before the fall. So that's another option for you. So just know that you need some paper. The paper I used on here is a discontinued line from Basic Gray. It's been discontinued a long time, called Periphery. It's possible you might find it if you really like it, maybe on eBay or something like that, but I think I bought this many years ago, so it is probably hard to find this. The paper on this is a new one. It's called Lyric. It's by Prima, and I just used a 6x6 paper pad and pieced and all that kind of stuff, and I used collage images and things like that. So that's that paper if you like that. As I mentioned before, if you're going to use feet like this, you should get some foam core. You don't need a whole lot, but you need some foam core to beef this up. If you're going to build your own box, and I will go through that in the tutorial, then you're going to need a big sheet because we'll do all the sides and the doors. And then you might want to have some thin chipboard to back things like these architectural type pieces, that sort of thing. And then you might want to have some heavy chipboard if you want to do things like the matchboxes in the bottom, or do something like I've done down here where I have the ledge and then you've got places to put the ATCs. So that's something to think about. And then of course matchboxes, if you want to put matchboxes in the bottom. These are from Alpha. These are the kind we used for the matchbox chest if you did that. So I kind of just went with what fit, and because these boxes are so big, this one kind of fit better and it's taller, so it's kind of up to you what you want to do. But I'll walk through how I did the bottoms of these cabinets. So I think that pretty much covers all the supplies. I'll list on the blog some of the basic tools, but I'll repeat all of this in the main tutorial. I just wanted to give you a heads up if you want to start planning and trying to find whatever supplies you want to use. By the time I have this tutorial, there are going to be some new collage sheets, and you can see some things in here which I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they are in my new collage sheet. And I will also have some free images for you, like I'll probably have a free pediment for you, and some other free images that you can download at the same time. The tutorial, I'm shooting for it to be ready about mid-April, and I'll probably have at least one more sample for you to look at in addition to the one that I'll build on the in the tutorial. So I hope you have fun gathering all your supplies and plotting and planning, and then I'm just going to finish this video with just giving you a closer look, since I've got it on camera now, a closer look at the cabinets. So here, I'll open the doors. It's kind of hard from being on the other side. Like I say, unfortunately, I'll turn it this way, you can't see the insides as well since it doesn't open up all the way. And then you can decorate, of course, the sides and the back. And then the other one, much bigger box. You can kind of see what I've done to the stuff in the front. And then I'll open it up for you. You see the inside doors with the dress forms. And then the little ledge, which is just chipboard. That's some decorative chipboard. And of course, if you had some really long artwork, this would have been a perfect box because then you'd have a lot of space if you've got some long tags and things like that.